Okay. Let's wait for a couple of minutes for everyone to come and join us here. As we wait, what you can do is present yourself in the chat and tell me, as a designer, what you'd love to learn about AI now and for the month and weeks to come. I'll write something in the chat now. Okay, off we go. Writing something here. Hey there, hi Max, super fast at image generation. Hi Max. Great. I hope this workshop will be super interesting to you. And let's wait about two more minutes for everyone to be coming. For those who just arrived, you can add a short message introducing yourself in the chat and letting us know what you want to do with AI. Hi, Jack. And we'll be starting in a minute. Hi, Olivier. Hi, Florian. All good. Thanks for asking. Florian was one of our first students. Hi, Deborah. You've done a couple of AI projects and I want to keep up with the trend. I'm going to design something using AI. Sounds great. All right. I will start the presentation, but feel free to keep writing things in the chat. I will read everything as they come. Hi, Damini. I'm a designer. Would love to learn how to best use AI to be more efficient with my design process. Sounds great. This is AI for designers. I'm Ben, and I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes, in a bit less than an hour, 6 ways AI is already impacting designers. And by designers, I mean digital designers. So that would be brand designers, graphic designers, web designers, UI, UX designers, product designers in that sense. Hi, Carl. This is an interactive session. Feel free to ask me questions as I go along and interrupt me if something's unclear. That's the whole point of having something live. A quick introduction. I'm Ben. I used to have a company called Super Creative, and you may know me from that company. I grew up doing a lot of projects. My mom is a freelance designer. My dad is an entrepreneur. And I've been designing things since I was 12. The process of design is always something that I've found fascinating, to communicate an idea I had in mind visually, an intention. And the theory of design is something I've thought a lot about, I've read a lot about, and craft of the designer is something I'm also obsessed about. This led me, when I was 18, to a company called Webflow, which you may have heard of, which is a web design tool. And I joined the company as their first intern for 3 months. And the team was very small at the time, but I got a glimpse as to what it means to build a creative tool, and put it in the hands of thousands of people, and what they can do when you have something really powerful, made intuitive. And what I loved with this experience is seeing the ways that just with a simple tool, we can push the boundaries of this tool to become super creative. And that is something I loved and I still do. Hello, Azal. Um, right after super creative, right after my experience with Webflow, when I was finished with school, uh, I started a company, a brand called Super Creative, where I built by myself and with a few developers. I built 16 different tools for creatives, for freelancers who who do creative things like designers. And some of these tools, three of them, actually used generative AI. And so I got a glimpse as to what was possible before ChatGPT even came out. And some of these tools that used AI were InstaPrice, which is a pricing calculator for freelancers. One called CrowdGPT, which was a directory of the best prompts, and Ephemeral, which is a painting that constantly evolves, and generates itself with AI. And so as I built these tools, I realized that this technology was in fact going to make people super creative and not so much my tools. So I co-founded Side School, which is organizing the workshop right now. And that's what we're going to talk about now. The power of AI applied to our creative tasks, and a lot more. Um, the the focus really of AI is on designers on two fronts. The first is on design tasks, because that's what we do and that's what we love. And so I'm going to show you just a couple of these tools, um, for in this workshop and what they enable. Um, and I'm also going to share workflows for designers for work tasks, because something that you may know is that in fact a lot of our work revolves around design, but is not actually design. There's the work before the work after the work to get the work. So all the meetings, all the research, setting up a project, getting the money, and all of that is sometimes tasks we like to do as designers, but often not. And AI can also help us accelerate on tasks like that is core to making our job work, but may not be as important to us. And so, in fact, the first workflow, and we're going to dive in straight now after 8 minutes of introduction. I'm going to share a workflow that I've seen a lot of designers inside agencies, freelancers, but also bigger companies do. Is talk to Claude. You can let me know in the chat if you've been using Claude as opposed to a tool like ChatGPT. Claude was actually built by people who were in the ChatGPT team and left to build Claude. They're competitor products. And the first workflow I'm going to show you is better done on Claude for the reason that Claude is in fact better in many of our tests on more creative tasks, on writing tasks, where ChatGPT is in fact better on more analytical tasks, tasks where you have to get some data right. Anytime that you want to think and brainstorm, and write stuff, we find in our different experiments that Claude is better. And so, in fact, a lot of designers do use Claude on the side of ChatGPT for creative tasks. And so, the thing that I want to show you is some designers writing proposals with a way to write prompts that we call race prompting. And I'm seeing in the chat, Florian, love Claude, better than ChatGPT in my point of view. I quite agree. What is RACE? RACE is an acronym for the following. It means stands for role, A for action, C for context, and E for examples. And so whenever you start chatting with ChatGPT or Claude and you want an output that is quite long and quite thoughtful, the more context you give, the better. And this helps you think about how to interact with an AI in a more easy way. It's like a good memo to remember. So race, and I'm giving you an example of how to use race inside Claude. So you can literally spell out role, action, context, examples. You don't have to, but I usually do. I actually spell everything. And as you can see from the picture here, sorry, role. So I'm gonna ask the AI to be a role that I want it to have. So you are an expert in drafting proposals for clients. Action, you will create a proposal for my client. And context, the client is this person and I'm the founder of this agency, and the more context you give, the better. And it's also great to improve the quality of AI generations to provide examples. So if you can provide examples of previous proposals, it can look through the files that you've attached or the text, and based on the structure, propose something that is on the same line. There is a caveat to this example. Sorry, the main caveat is if you only provide one or two examples, the AI models will be too much influenced by these examples. So if you provide examples, it's always better to actually provide five or more examples. Otherwise, it will be too similar to something that you share if you just have one or two examples. This is a moment for you to sort of put this into practice, and you'll see there are 2 or 3 other moments like that in the workshop. So you can open a new tab as I'm talking, open ChatGPT or Claude. If you don't have a Claude account, now is a good time to create a free account, and use the raise prompting method. At least write it out once to create a proposal or something else you have in mind. That way, once you hit send, at least you have this saved. You'll see as I go through the workshop, I'm going to share a lot of ideas and resources. And for those who stay until the end, I'll share everything in one file. It won't be on the replay though. So stick until the end to have everything. I'm also going to go fairly fast. As you can see, I've just dived into it, and I'm going to share a lot more in the coming minutes. So don't worry, all of it will be accessible at the end on the link. If you struggle with one exercise that I'm giving, don't worry, you'll have access to everything at the end again. All right, so race, role, action, context, examples, and you can write something out. The more context, the better. And maybe something else that is worth noting is that as we go on with better and AI models that are capable of thinking more or reasoning more, quote unquote reasoning, we we're faced with an interesting um, scenario where very powerful models like ChatGPT o1 or o3, when you write a simple prompt, they might seem like they perform less well than smaller models like ChatGPT o 4.0 or Claude 3.5. And it's the exact opposite when you have a lot more context. So the more information you need to share in order to get the AI to help you with an answer, the better it is to use a stronger model. But for an easy task, something that is very straightforward, it's the smaller models actually seem to perform better. That is something I wanted to share. Workflow number 2, and I'm just gonna keep going. It's still about the work around designers' tasks, not straight into design, still around. I wanted to share something that we've seen some super creative designers do, is scope their projects a lot faster with GPTs. What are GPTs? They're sort of structured apps in ChatGPT where you can give the same prompt, the same context, but you can reuse it across different conversations. And what happens is when you create your own GPT, you don't have to remember the same prompt, the same race prompt, for example. You can just store it here and store a lot of context files that might be relevant to generate sort of like a proposal or help you scope out a design project. And let me actually give you like a very short demo. So when you have a ChatGPT account and you subscribe to the Plus account for $20, you will have access to this interface. On the left is where you configure the GPT, and on the right is where you can actually chat and test the GPT you've just you've just created. And so this is a GPT I've just created called Scoping Design Projects. And in the instructions is exactly just like a prompt. And I've actually reused the same structure, prompt, the race, prompt structure with a role. So you are an expert designer who has accomplished thousands of design projects, web, brand, UX, UI. You will help me scope out what might be needed for a project I will share with you. Try to read between the lines and explicit tasks that I may have forgotten. The end output will be a document in Canvas with estimated days for each task in a Gantt type of framework. And for context, I'm a freelance designer specializing in creating creative direction for influencers, blah, 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 blah. My name is Ben, I'm based in Paris, and I've freelanced for 12 years. Okay. So providing a bit of context. When I try here, it will do a pretty simple job of, helping me out, but it doesn't still have that much context on what it do. And so in order to really go to the next level of creating a really useful GPT, here are two things you can do. First, you can enable in the capabilities on the left part the thing called Canvas, which I'll show you in a second. Image generation that might not be useful in this use case. I can untoggle it. Code interpreter is always pretty useful to have. That means that if you drag and drop a document and it can write code to read the document, so I always keep it enabled. And it can also browse the web for you. So that's one thing you can do, is enable or disable some of these capabilities for your GPT. Another thing you can do is set up different files that talk about your context. So let's say that you want the GPT to know what clients you had, what services you provide. You can write everything in the instructions, but you can also have AI generate a bunch of context on what you do. And so this is what I want to show you to go even further, to improve the GPT with full context files. And the way to do this, that is a bit crazy, but that is now doable, is to use a tool called V7 Go. And what I'll do, actually, sorry, what I'll do now is paste here in the chat the link of v7labs.com, and they have one product called V7 Go. And what it is, if I zoom in, I got lost so Jack said, sorry, I got lost writing on ChatGPT. What is this tool called? V7 Go. I'll put it again, V7 Go. And so this is basically like an Excel or Google Sheet file, right? You have columns and rows, but it is powered by AI. And so here I can add URLs, links to anything that I might have written, my projects with clients. So I'll actually, I'll put my LinkedIn profile on here. And what it will do is take that link, analyze the content, and here in a new column, I can ask, generate an extensive description of Ben as described in the property website. So I'm reusing the reference of the website so that it writes a full description of what I do, so that I can use it as context for my future prompts. And I can use a different model. I can use ChatGPT Pro or Flash, that might be good. And so here, it generates, based on the links I've already provided, a small text that I can actually copy and paste into my GPT. And I can do this not just on 2 or 3 websites, but on thousands of them, and have an AI actually create all the text about me. I can do the same with files, for example. But this was just one example. Using V7 Go, which is a very powerful tool. I can talk about it again later in the workshop if you want to. It's one of the most powerful tools we're showing in Inside School in our bootcamps. Workflow number 3. And now we're going to start doing things with visuals. One of the things I've seen designers who are really into AI start doing when they start projects is that when they create mood boards, and in the process of creating mood boards, and before they start mood boards, to start a new branding concept or even a concept for a website, what they do is they brainstorm with image models, AI image models that are very fast and very good, like Flux. And a great way to interface with a model like Flux is to go on a tool called Creaca, Crea.ai. So again, I'm going to show you this tool. I'm going to put it in the chat right here, and I'm going to give you a demo. When you create a free account on Creaca, what you have is a bunch of styles that people create on Creaca that are based on the Flux model, and all of these different styles you can use yourself in new images. So let's say this is the Impressionist style. I like it. All right, I'm just gonna browse a couple of styles, and I'm gonna ask you in the chat to each give me a word, and I'm gonna combine these words to create an image. So feel free to write just a random word, and I'll write a prompt with everything. What do I like? Swampy comic style. Okay, so feel free to send me a couple of ideas. Religious art. Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna go with this one. So I can see what others have done with this style. And I can click flux, and I can do actually, I can do, I can try these styles with a free Creaca account. So Max shares lifestyle. Okay, lifestyle. Scandi Island. Scandi lifestyle. Stegosaurus on an island. All right. With snow. And modernist. All right. Let's give it a try. So I'm generating, and you can see it goes really fast. I can also increase the strength of the style or decrease the strength of the style I've just applied. So now I'm gonna take it much lower, and it's gonna look a lot more like the prompt. And if I increase the style almost up to the max, it's gonna look a lot more religious then, I guess. Yes. You can see how this interface with Creaca, when it goes really fast for image generation, you can brainstorm almost as quick as you have ideas. So whenever you have an idea, you can change the prompt, retake a style, change a style. And so this way of brainstorming different visual possibilities is something that is really super powerful, and that one can do with with Creaca and Flux. You can go even further now by actually creating your own model. Let's say you're a designer who loves to design with the color blue, and everything you design is blue. And so, and you have a very specific, like an artist, a very specific approach to your design. What you can do is feed a model in Creaca, so that's what I'm going to show you, and then be able to reuse that model that you've created with your own style across any prompt that you may have. Let me show you. This is the interface that you have when you are on Creaca. You should upload 3 or more images of photos of yourself, of your style, or even just an artist that you like. And I've tried this with painted portraits. I've also tried this with my face in the office. I've had about 7 images like that I just took. And then it generated images that have my face and are actually just fake. This used to be very difficult to do before, like a year ago. It used to be kind of difficult 6 months ago because you had to go on replicate, you had to pay a bit. Now everything's sort of getting packaged, and Creaca is again one of these tools that allow you to train your own model very quickly and very intuitively. And so you can see how that expands your creative horizons when you do that, not just with photos of yourself, but with your own style or a style that you like. So again, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to try it out yourself if you haven't done so already, is to open a new tab and create a free Creaca account, and go into the generate tab at the top, and then under generate, go into image, and try a couple of different images that and styles, sorry, that are proposed to you with some of the prompts that you have in mind. Um, I hope everything. Oops, sorry, everything's clear so far. Feel free to ask questions again in the chat. All right. Again, all the tools that I'm showing are actually included for free when you join Side School. So you might hit a limit after, I don't know, maybe 20 images. Creaca is one of the tools out there to generate images that is the least expensive. Midjourney is actually getting quite expensive. So this is a great, I mean, I'm not even paying for Midjourney anymore. I'm just using Creaca. All right, now go back to the video, to the workshop, and I will show you the next workflow. Workflow number 4. In order to really show you the how much has changed in the last 2 or 3 years with image generation, where it used to be just like Midjourney and DALL-E, and you just gave it a prompt and you couldn't do much. I want to go even further to show you that these tools can now be used in production, and not just for brainstorming, but you can actually use them with clients. And one thing that allows you to use them in real projects is this feature called Inpainting that I'm going to show you right now. Andy just said, will there be a recording of this available? Sorry, I got there a little bit late. I will share something at the very end of this workshop with some of the resources. Yes. All right. So I'm gonna give you a demo that I found mind blowing that I did 2 weeks ago. And it's actually, it might be more for interior designers, but you'll see how that can be applied to graphic, web, product designers too. So my parents are actually moving in this flat, and my mother just has an image of the flat that they're moving into, and she had a bunch of Pinterest posts of things that she wanted to have in the flat. And so this is the image of the flat. And what I try to do with Inpainting is to see what the flat would look like if we included some of the objects and some of the inspirations she had. And so how does this work? You upload an image, and what you do is you select parts of the image, and you can try to either give a prompt or give an image, and it will fill the area with the prompt or image you gave. And so this table is the table she wanted. Those lamps are kind of the lamps she wanted. This sofa is what she wanted. She also wanted a library behind, and she had me change the color actually a couple of times. Here it was blue, and then she wanted it to be white. And so you can see how image by image we went to this. And so I'm going to open it up to the chat again. What do you want me to add to this picture that might be photorealistic and that might be interesting to have in this flat? Maybe I will select, I don't have a lot of space here, but I will select here, and I want a small table. As you can see, I can add an image. I can also reuse one of the trained model that I've had. So I had my profile, I've had the painting. So you can see how I can reapply my model kind of everywhere, which is really powerful. Okay, a dog, that's a great addition. Thanks, Max. A dog laying down. And actually I want a border collie dog. And I usually have to wait about 10 seconds. All right, so we can see here, there's an issue. The dog is huge, not gonna work. We can see, and that's very frequent, that this goes through iterations. This might not work for me, so I can actually try again. Hup. I can also, because I haven't given any idea of I haven't given any images. It's kind of inventing a dog from the ground up. Here it doesn't look like a border collie that much. That's the demo effect. I should probably specify an image, but you see how powerful that can be. It's something. If can I show you another example? All right, I'll show you with this example. It's gonna load up. Deborah says, paint the ceiling for a more modern, unexpected vibe. I'm just gonna move on to the next example, but thanks for sharing. So this was an image I generated with Flux, but I don't think they're gonna load. Anyhow, I'm just gonna move on. I hope you get the picture of how powerful this can be. The thing is, and that's really another great tip I think I can give. When you do Inpainting like that, the generation is going to be like pretty good when you iterate and you give images as input as well, but the quality of the output is going to be the image quality is not going to be that great. And so you have a couple of AI tools online to upscale an image, but they are often quite long, they can be expensive, and they are often too creative, and they'll fill out the details with things that are too unexpected. And so to get a high fidelity upscale, there's this cool tool called Upscale, like that with a Y, that in my opinion is really, really good. And I have it on my computer. It's an app you download. And so it runs locally. So if you have a MacBook with an M1, M2, M3 chip, it's going to run extra fast. And what I wanted to show you is when you go on their website, so Upscale like that, they will prompt you to pay when you press like that. The thing is, we don't want to pay. So if you go to alternative downloads, instead of clicking Mac OS, if you're on a Mac, and you scroll down, you see there's a DMG, and that's a file you can download for free instead of paying, I think it's $15. So that's just a nice tip for you to use Upscale. And it works surprisingly well. I'm very happy with the model behind. So that's a great way to go from Inpainting to something that you can actually use in production. I'm going to share the link here, actually, in the chat, so you can download it. Whoop. There we go. Upscale.org. And I'm going to answer your question. Can you change the scale of the items in the generated image? Yes, you can, absolutely. All right, I'm going to move on because the time is ticking and I have a lot more to show you. Feel free to download Upscale and try it with a random image. I will move on. Workflow number 5. Something that I think we're just getting started seeing. It's really the early days of this workflow, but it is very promising, is using AI as like a partner, a buddy, to give you feedback as you design. And you can actually have, you can prompt the AI to be like your client. And this could be annoying, but in some moments, it's actually good to do this before you actually talk to the client, just to prepare for what their critics might be, or for your boss. And so, what I've been doing more and more personally, I don't know anyone doing this, is not just take a screenshot of the design and upload it to ChatGPT or Claude and ask for feedback. What I do is I use the latest model by Google called Gemini 2.0, and I share my screen live. And let me show you how that works. Um, yeah, but just before I do so, I've actually used that for the tool that I showed you at first called Enterprise. And in fact, a lot of the success I think that I attribute to the tool came from my fast iteration loop with AI as I built it. And so I took a lot of screenshots as I designed it. I reviewed the UI with AI. The orange color that is now sort of the main color of the Enterprise was suggested by ChatGPT at the time. Even the name was suggested. You can see that when you start brainstorming and reviewing your work with AI, it can be very cool and very useful. So now, I'm going to share with you the Google Studio. So if you go on aistudio.google.com, let me try to see if I can actually copy paste this in the chat again. Hop, hop, copy, and then here, paste. There you go. Okay, so you can try it out yourself. What you want to do here when you're on the Google AI Studio is to share your screen. And what it will do is like you just share your screen as if you were on a live call with a client. And the AI is going to look at your screen live and give you feedback live. So you just press on it once, and then you just go on Figma, Illustrator, Photoshop, and you just design. And as you go, you can ask questions. If you just go like that, it's kind of interesting. The best way to improve the quality of the interactions with Gemini 2 here is to give it a really good system instruction, a prompt here. So you can use the raise prompt method to sort of explain as much as possible about the project you're working on, and this will help a lot. And you can conclude, or you can actually say in the action, give me feedback as I design, and you can even specify the type of feedback you want right here. And this tends to improve the interaction, the live interaction, and really, this might be the most wow demo, wow effect, or a wow moment, or at least it has been for me in years, since probably ChatGPT, to really just press this button and go design. And as I have a question, not even think about the fact that there's an AI, but just think and work alongside the AI. That is just mind blowing to me, and I think a lot of computers are going to evolve into that way. I think what I'm showing you here is really a pick of the future, a sneak peek of the future. All right, so you can actually do the same. You can take a minute or two to go on ChatGPT and upload a design, a recent design, and just ask something. If you've never had this sort of back and forth with an AI to improve your designs, I think this is one of the skills that it's good to start building, because it's a way to get feedback that is going to be super fast, and a great way to improve your work quicker. workflow number 6, which is also the final workflow. Uh, Going back to the tasks, the work around the work, which we might not like as much. I don't think a lot of people like emails, like sending emails or replying or getting them. And so in the back and forth with your clients or with your boss on a design project, what the designers from the future that use AI, what they start doing is they actually draft email replies automatically, not just with a prompt, but with a lot of context on who they are, their projects, and everything else. Sort of like the context files that I talked about in the second workflow. And the idea really is not to send automatically answers, but it's rather to provide the structure based on the email that I receive. If it's a very quick email, the AI might reply in the same way, but it's just one way to take some of the cognitive load out of the interactions with your client. And so that's very nice to think that we can automate some of our email replies or have them automatically drafted for us. There are two things I want to show you in this final workflow. The first is a tool called Lindy, lindy.ai. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to put it back here. And it's lindy.ai. And what it allows you to do is basically, let me zoom in here. It's kind of like a Zapier interface. It's a workflow. And you say, okay, whenever I receive an email on Gmail, it can be Outlook, it can be anything. I'm going to think, okay, does this require an answer? And so this is actually something that you do with AI that you couldn't do without AI. And if it does require an answer, check a knowledge base. So that might be a website that I have, that might be a lot of files on my Notion, on my Google Drive. And so if I don't have that, it's just going to reply, something random because it doesn't know a lot about me. And then it can draft an answer. And so here it's using Claude 3.5, which, as I mentioned, is a bit better at writing and creative tasks based on the knowledge that it got. And then you can save this as draft. And so you receive an email. The AI here with the agent with Lindy is automatically triggered, drafts an answer. And so before you even saw that you received an email, you already have a draft ready to send out. This is very powerful. You can customize this a lot. So this is option number 1. And Lindy allows you to do so much more, but this is just one workflow that I thought was very interesting to share to automate some of the tasks that we don't like to do as designers. The other way to do this, but that is less customizable, but more on autopilot, is with this tool called Serif. And so Serif really just plugs into your Gmail account. Doesn't work with Outlook. And what it does is it looks through all of the emails you received. They have all these claims and all this architecture to make sure that the when they do check all your past emails, nothing is breached, no data is breached. And let me zoom in here again. And then they draft all these context files about you, how you work, your company, in such a way that then whenever you receive an email, it drafts an answer exactly like Lindy. But this is a lot more automated. And here I'm going to share again the link right here, serif.ai. Again, I will put everything at the end. So this is another way to really, gain a lot of time. The Serif tool compared to Lindy only has a free trial of 7 days. You can extend it up to 14 days, and then it's paid. Whereas Lindy, it's free. It's a bit more difficult or longer to set up, but then it's free. So now, as designers of digital things, um, you can see, I mean, hopefully what I just showed you is a proof that things are changing in how we think about design and how we design ourselves, and even how we work as employees of a company or employees um, of an agency or as freelancers. It's changing a lot of things. And so, how to get ready? Well, you can go to workshops like these. Hopefully, this one was really good and you love it. But you can also think, okay, I actually, instead of just like seeing a couple of tools, I actually want to go the next level, and I actually want to really start using AI in all my work tasks. And so, before I share with you some of the resources that I've shared, I want to tell you more about the AI for Designers Bootcamp, because if you like this workshop, you really like this. So, Side School, we organize boot camps that are super practical, that you can do on the side of your job, hence the name. So we don't require you to stop everything for a month. We designed the boot camp to be done 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And it's also an experience that you do side by side with other designers from other companies, and everyone gives each other feedback. And so it's a really powerful cohort experience. It doesn't feel like yet another e-learning course where you just sit in front of the video and you do nothing and you don't finish the course. Here you go through challenges with a cohort, and that's very motivating. And as I said, so we have 4 live classes. So in 1 month, 4 1-hour workshops, kind of like these, where we go deep into one topic that you can apply in your job. We do challenges where those are things you go on your at your own pace. So if you want to do 4 challenges in one afternoon or in 2 hours, you can. And you have to do about 15 challenges in 1 month at your own pace. And then anytime you submit your work to other people, to the platform that we built, other people, other designers will actually give you feedback on, hey, this seems to work well, try this tool, try this technique. And everyone sort of lifts the others up. This is a bootcamp I'm organizing with my co-founder Zineb. We have super cool people that I've invited to host the workshops. Some people that you may know, YouTube influencers, Rachel Howe. We have the founder of Lindy, and here are a preview of the challenges that we'll actually go through in the bootcamp. So some of the things I briefly showed you in this workshop, like the work around the work, scoping a design project, creating images, and then training your own models to this image. The challenges afterwards are go a bit beyond that, where we start creating mockups with AI, background videos. We do a bit of video with sound design with AI, editing with AI. Not that we are motion designers, but it's always good to implement a bit of videos in our websites, in our products, sometimes even in our visuals we create for socials. So we see a bit of that. We have a challenge dedicated to creating hundreds of visuals with AI and then making tweaks to each variant quickly for example, doing ads, thinking through user flows, and designing experiences with AI. And then the final sort of challenges are super interesting, even for people who are not technical and not product designers. We actually uh, build website with AI and no code that encapsulate all the AI generations we had. So the videos, the icons, the illustrations, everything we put on one final website. That is kind of the proof of what we did in 1 month. All with AI. We do automations in the final challenges. We do even prototypes of web apps, even though we don't know how to code. Um, Being able to quickly show value with some of our ideas to our clients is super, super powerful. And so now this is possible with tools like Windsurf, Bolt, and we have a challenge dedicated to this as well. As I mentioned, whenever you submit something, you get peer feedback. This is a core thing. We have a platform that hosts the whole experience that is really quite unique and really powerful. And in fact, this is the second time we're organizing the AI for Designers Bootcamp. We organized it last year, and we had about 30 students who loved it. They really did. Three of them actually literally said it changed their life. So this might set the expectation a bit too high, but it's not only a great way to implement AI into your daily tasks, which is how we designed the bootcamp, it's also really motivating to be around other designers who are driven by the same objective as you and who want to go through this together. So it's like it's really motivating, and I think this is also the strength of our bootcamp. Um, do you see any challenges working with AI in confidential projects? This is a great question, Carl. In fact, we have one part of our workshop in the bootcamp dedicated to this, where we see how we can have our own AIs, our own language models on our computer with a thing called Pinocchio. I'll let you dig into it because I want to keep going, but it is possible. This bootcamp, the AI for Designers Bootcamp, which we're doing just once this year, starts in 3 weeks. It's not in a lot of time. It's on February 3rd, and it finishes on February 28th. So for 1 month, we have 4 classes, 1-hour classes, and then the rest of the time you just go at your own pace to do all the challenges. We are pricing this at $1,200, but, and there's a big but here, we do not have this price because of a great news we got very recently. We're actually selling this at $499 for a very limited time because of, he's now a friend, Derek, who has one of the biggest communities of designers in the world called Daily UI, and he's sponsoring this workshop, and he's sponsoring the bootcamp. And so this means that we can provide the bootcamp at a lower price. We're offering this for the next 30 minutes. I will be here. I will be here answering any of the questions you may have regarding the bootcamp, regarding the challenges, regarding AI in general. This is, again, thanks to Daily UI, which is great news. And here's a recap, sort of the news or the news and the infos that you may need. So it starts February 3rd, ends February 28th. Instead of paying $1,200, it's a $499, and this is the second cohort. And we expect to be more around 60 designers for this cohort. That's it. If you want to check it out, we have this QR code. I'm also going to put this the link to check it out and actually join us right here in the chat. Paste right here. So you can check it out. We have a couple of students who are actually subscribed, even though this is the first time that I'm sharing the new cohort of the bootcamp publicly. We have students from the past cohort who are joining us because there's a lot of new tools and they wanted to see, they wanted to feel the experience again. So I'm glad we have them. Um, and that's it. I will now answer some of your questions and let you scan the QR code if you want to have it on on your your phone. And also on there you'll see almost all of the tools, all of the techniques that I've shared during the workshop. That's it. It's 1 minute up to the end. I will stay here and answer any of the questions you may have. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. By the way, I love when the chat is active. We weren't a lot of people. Sorry, I'm gonna drink. Sorry. We were just a small group. Usually we have about 100 people going to this live, but we didn't really promote it anywhere. So thanks for seeing the workshop and being part of it. Yeah. Thanks, West. Thank you, Max, for being here. Thank you, Deborah, Andy, Flo, for coming back after a couple of weeks we haven't talked. Oliver, thank you for being here. Jack as well for your questions. Thank you so much, Max. Maxime. Great workshop. Thank you so much. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Carl. Hopefully see you soon, guys. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Deborah. And feel free to ask any questions that you may have about AI, the bootcamp. This was quite helpful. I'm glad to hear. So if I recap the 6 workflows, creating better proposals with race prompting, after we had creating your own GPT, using V7 Labs to generate context files. And it was Creaca to find new styles, to train your own model, to do Inpainting, and the 6 with actually answering emails on autopilot with Lindy. Also, feel free to check out Daily UI to see what they propose since they sponsor. Guys, I'm seeing some of you still here. If you are thinking about the bootcamp and you still have questions, I will be answering emails super fast, maybe with Lindy, maybe with Seraph. So I will drop my email. I don't know if it's a good thing to do publicly, but I will still do it. Hi, Deborah. I took French immersion a long time ago in high school. I wish I had an AI that could analyze my level and work with me to improve it. You made me think that because you're from Paris. That's right. In fact, learning languages with AI is something I've tried 2 times. And the second time I've been trying this was very recently. I wanted to learn Portuguese to be able to sing samba, and ChatGPT now has a new feature called Tasks that allows you to put reminders and do and set prompts automatically based on a given time. And so, a great thing to keep on learning every day is prompt ChatGPT to say, "Hey, in a couple of every day, send me a new sentence or a new word that I should learn in Portuguese or in French, and then let's have a conversation." And doing this with a new feature, it came out yesterday, so I tried this yesterday. But I don't know if it's gonna work a lot better than if I just had one conversation. Usually, when I do this, then I kind of forget that I've had this prompt and I was learning a new language at all. Having a notification and having ChatGPT be proactive, proactively send me messages, I think is better to learn, more like as if it was Duolingo in a way. So that's an interesting way to learn a language with AI. I'll put the link here again. Thank you very much, Doris Petra Design. Plugging my previous work for reviewing ChatGPT, super useful. Thanks. No worries, for sure. I will do so in the future. Sounds good, Maxime. All right, you have my email. Feel free to send me anything. And I look forward to see some of you in the bootcamp. Bye, everyone.